Hey guys, it's Shane here from Tank Hunter Miniatures, and today's video I wanted to go over the current issues with the Sisters of Battle. Now, I've been a Sisters of Battle player for a few years now. I really enjoyed them to start off with. They had a lot of fun stuff they could do even before they had a full codex. There was a lot of interesting things you could do. Now that's sort of been neglected. They had a great, basically, re-release where, you know, everything got updated. They got a whole new model range, because I mean, for the longest time they were just completely metal, so to get actual plastic sisters, that was a huge change for everything. But now I think with the sort of the hype going down, it's really put them in a weird place. So let's just go over first what's going wrong with them. Now, to break this down, we first got to look what sort of army they are, because they're in between being a guardsman, you know, T3, toughness 3, and being a space marine with the 3-up armor. They're in that middle ground. Now, that would mean they're not quite a horde, and they're not quite a specialist. So it is sort of a weird place for them to be in. But they used to be able to sort of compensate for that by having, you know, more elite focused stuff. A lot of special weapon teams, a lot of, special weaponry that could basically take out a lot of different targets. So they were very skillful. Think more heavily armored, you know, Scions, your Stormtrooper. Similar in vein to that, where they're more glass cannon and these guys were supposed to be more heavily armored. What we're seeing now, though, is it's trying to be more of a horde faction. You're supposed to take a lot more of the sisters. Their lack of toughness is supposed to be compensated by their massive bodies, and we felt that way last edition when they made, you know, Battle Sister squads go up to 20, and now they've gone back down to 10, whilst before you could take them in squads of 5, load out like 3 special weapons in the team, and just have these small fire teams that would go around and just deal a lot of damage that way. But now it's very much take as much as you can, fill out the board, which isn't a bad thing. It's just different, and I don't really think the rules support the horde army that much. Because I mean, having the high armor save, you know, that's good, but of course you can't really take advantage of cover in that. So being toughness 3 as well, the armor save isn't really going to help a lot of the times. So yeah, when things start to go downhill, it's hard to bring it back. And the benefit for, you know, when you lose guys, they're able to shoot better, but they weren't shooting that bad to begin with, so it's not really helping that much. So yeah, the rules really need to focus back more, even making the squads being back to 20 units, 20 models in a squad. Maybe that's what it needs, but it's just hard to put a good place on them at the moment. The other fact that really hurt them was that Melter became not as good as it was. A Melter used to be able to take out anything large, anything heavily armored. Now it's anti-armor, anti-marine, that sort of thing. It's not what it used to be. And considering most squads, as soon as they get into melee with just a normal space marine, not even a specially close combat one, they're gonna go down. And Sisters is in a weird spot because I think they've tried to make them a lot more melee focused now, and they're trying to encourage you to get them into melee, but unless you're the very specific ones that can, you're not gonna last against anything. The rules are just not supporting how they should be played. In regards to the Melter, the tanks are good. Like, we've seen that now with my last report saying how well they did. And they did do good, but they don't have anything anti-large, anti-armor, anti-tank. The highest strength weapon is on a hunter killer missile, strength 14. Everything else is like strength 10. So as soon as you get up to something heavily armored, big, you can't do anything about it. It's so weird. They don't have an answer for that. Their highest strength weapon is that Paragon Mace. So again, you're trying to encourage them be a close combat army, which is cool, but they don't survive well. So it's weird. So again, your best combat units aren't even like horde based. They're your Paragon suits. They're your essentially Terminators. But I don't think you're supposed to really be spamming them. That's supposed to be very few and far between you get those. So it's just odd. But yeah, so let's go into what I think would make these guys better. What I think we need to do to really bring this around. Now, we all know Melter is in a pretty weird spot at the moment. There's a quick fix for that. All you gotta do is just make it anti-monster and anti-vehicle 4-up. That's all you have to do. Melter is suddenly fantastic again. And I mean, that's just when it's a Melter range. So you're talking like 9 inches on a multi-melter, 6 on a regular melter. So it's not even obscene. So I don't know why we don't have that yet, but hopefully we'll get that at some point. That's all you have to do. Melters and fixed. Everyone rejoices and is happy. But just going into what we need to fix of the specific Sisters of Battle units, let's start with the Exorcist here. Now this is a very easy fix. As you can see, all I did was just increase the strength and AP of the Exorcist missile launcher. That's it. It's done. It's fixed. That's all it needed. Bring it being back to strength of like a las cannon. And yeah, this guy, give it a point increase, because that definitely deserves a point increase. But now it can actually really do something and has a proper position. So now we go into the Castigator, which Castigator was in an odd spot, because basically what we're seeing is Sisters of Battle getting Space Marine hand-me-downs. So they're getting the Predator tank, but they're getting a weird version of it. So let's just fix that, because the Castigator always had backwards rules to me. Because for one thing, the battle cannon, it was blast, but it had rerolls against monsters and vehicles. Like, if this is a weapon that's designed to take out big things, why does it need blast and ignore cover? Like, are you saying it's supposed to be able to combat both? Well, if it combats both, why do I need the other profile? Like, why do we need that? So, yeah, in this case, I've switched that, so the right's castigation. You get the reroll to hit against infantry with the blast battle cannon, so that fixes that. And the autocannons, give them the higher strength, higher AP, and that re-rolls to hit against the monsters and vehicles. So now you've got a dedicated anti-infantry and a dedicated anti-large cannon profile, and that's really useful. And then just for fun, to give it something that stands out a bit more, I've added the Demos pattern Predator weapon, so the Magnum Melter cannon. Give it that. Give it the Infernus cannon, so it's got a cool flamer turret, and giving it the option of replacing the heavy bolters with the flamers and the multi-melters. Now you've got a battle tank you can customize completely to do any task. This is what we need. This guy needs to be a tank that is so universal and that can be used for everything. And you might say, well, that's really strong now, but you can still only take 3. So you could take 1 that has the autocannons and the bolters, 1 that's just all melter, and then 1 that's like flamers. Yeah, you could do a lot of fun stuff with this. So I really think that's what the Castigator needs. It's just in a weird spot where it's trying to do everything and it's just not able to. So yeah, that's what we need to fix with this tank. Now, as for new units that I'd like to see the Sisters of Battle getting, let's start with this guy that I've built up. Please excuse the very bad editing I've done. I'm not an artist at all. So this was an idea I had for this, and we use these in Tank Hunter, the Knight Vindicator. So what it is, it's a Vindicator, as you can see, but it's a melee. It has that large lance on it, the thermal lance, that can just plow in and just take out very large units. I think this would be really fitting, because like I said, they want to be close combat guys. You can charge these guys in, and they're not going to play like you would Tau or Imperial Guard. They're doing the heavy damage, but they're doing it close up, and which is very fitting for the Sisters of Battle. So I feel this is something that would be really fun for them. I really want this. So a melee focused tank that is designed to just, lance in, just plow through and just keep moving forward. So next, like I said, if we want to make Sisters like a pure Horde faction, that's what sort of we're looking at. So they don't have any large transports. You got Rhinos as your biggest, and you know, why? Rhinos are definitely good. Like, I'm a huge fan of Rhino Rush, but let's give them bigger transport. So I'm not just saying give them Land Raiders, that's a bit lazy. I would love if they gave them something like the Crassius. Now the Crassius it's an awesome vehicle. It's got over 30 transport capacity. You know, it's big, heavily armored. It's got the heavy bolters on the front. You know, you can deck this out to look more like a church type of design. There's a lot of fun stuff you could do. So it's just a big transport carrier, and you can just drive it up the field. It's absorbing all these hits, and then it just unloads sisters out of it in every direction. Yeah, like I said, you wouldn't have to do anything. Just keep the rules that it have. Just make sure it just carries sisters instead of Imperial Guard. The other things I would change is allow the heavy bolters to be swapped out for flamers or multi-melters. And yeah, I think that would really help them. That would really fix it. That would be awesome. And the last one, I want to see them have like a flyer. So give them like a Storm Raven, but don't just make it like a Storm Raven. Let's do some stealing. Let's steal from StarCraft 2. Make it like a Medivac type of Storm Raven. So not only is it a carrier, but it would hover above your units and give them like a feel no pain somehow. It would buff the units that it's surrounding by. So you could keep this guy around to, yeah, just reinforce the soldiers. It would either return them, being a, yeah, like I said, a flying medical bay. Just something that keeps them around longer, that can really repel that. An idea I had was like maybe put a bunch of spotlights on it, so it's showing, you know, the glory light, so it's blinding the enemy to make things harder to shoot, you know, things that are under it. There's some fun ideas. I have no idea what the design would be like. Like I said, it's in between the Storm Raven and the Medivac from StarCraft 2. But I feel that would really be on theme and really help them. So one thing I never really enjoyed was the Axe of Faith system. It just feels cheap, having the dice roll just being replaced. No one really enjoys it that much. It's so clutch. You're so dependent on either very good dice rolls, and then half the time they're not, and you've got these faith points wasted unless you've got something there to really support it. So it just keeps insisting on itself. So I really want to be free of that system. So looking at this new Act of Faith system, where it's very much like the Slaanesh demons in Age of Sigmar, the way the more punishment you've taken, it's giving you the strength and faith. So as you can see, you know, having the neg 1 to be wounded, that's amazing. That is so good on a toughness 3 faction. That can make the difference so much. And then yeah, getting lethal hits and then increasing invuln save. Just so yeah, you're really being rewarded by being, you know, sort of taking this damage. So you want to bring this big squad in, something heavily armored, and just absorb and just take the damage for everyone, and everyone gets rewarded for that. Now, the other part of this is then spending that points, just like you would with demons, because that's what I really feel the Sisters of Battle need to lean into. They're not Space Marines, even though they're trying to, right now I think they're trying to be more like Space Marines. No, they're like witches. They're like sorcerers in a way. They're using this holy power, which very much we know is some sort of warp craft. So anyway, just like normal demons would, these guys need to be able to summon their own. So as you can see, by spending the points, you summon in either the Damned Legionnaires or this new unit I've made called Avenging Angels, or wait till it's really built up and bring a Saint of Vengeance, and I'll go into what those do in a minute. I feel this is a really fun mechanic. This would change the way the Imperium works. It gives it very much their own place when they're not just kind of weaker Space Marines that are just more, they're not an in-between faction. They're their own specific people that have their own special abilities you cannot replicate with other Imperium factions. So I feel this would really set their identity. So we've got these Avenging Angels. These are demonic Imperial units, basically living saints that are summoned in from the warp. Very much, we've already seen this, like I said, the Legion of the Damned. It's very much demonic entities that are controlled by the Emperor, and these guys are no different. So these guys are less resilient than your Legion of the Damned. They just sort of deep strike in and then just do holy flame damage, come in and, yeah, basically act like Seraphim, but supercharged, you know, empowered Seraphim. So I think this would really help, just when you're in a pinch, you've lost some guys, and, you know, you're falling back, summon these guys in, and they won't last long, because they're still only toughness 3, 1 wound, but they're going to be able to do some damage before they're cast back out. And then, of course, we're looking at the Living Saint of Vengeance. Now, this would be a very large model, pretty much same size as like the Void Dragon Shard or the Avatar of Yin Khan. So it's a big centerpiece model that just comes in and, yeah, deals righteous fire to everyone around it. It'd be hard to kill. You know, it's big. It's like an Avatar of Cain. That, you know, it feels the suffering of everyone around it, and through their belief, through their worship, it comes down to help them all out. So, yeah, I think that would really give them something to stand out, because it's not like they're having big tanks, big sort of mecha things. They're having their own thing. This is like a big monster that they have. So it's basically give the Imperium divine monsters, and that's Sisters of Battle now. So I feel that would be really on theme for them. I haven't actually had a chance to sort of playtest these things. If somebody could, that would be fantastic. I'll try and get some playtesting done. I might even put it up on the channel. But yeah, these are what I want. This is what I think the Sisters of Battle need to happen to separate them from the rest of the Imperium forces, and would really strengthen them, put them in a great place. But let me know what you guys think. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Anything else you'd like me to add, I'd love to try it out. But yeah, I think going forward, this is really what I want to focus on. Making new units, fixing old ones, and we can go together trying to make this game better. So aside from that, yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.